Jeffrey Epstein Accuser Virginia Giuffre, who has unfortunately passed away. It happened earlier this week or late last week. Dead of, according to report, suicide. Kelly, tell us what you know.
So I think she was, 41? And she committed suicide. She has, her foundation. She's got, she's helped so many women with what she's experienced. This photo is a picture of her, Prince Andrew, and Ghislaine Maxwell, and everything she's experienced. I know you guys don't know the story. And we were talking to her at one point, weren't we?
We've talked to a few Epstein victims. In fact, there's one, I'm not going to name her, but I'm on an email thread. It's very interesting. I've been on an email thread. I'm going to search her name real quick. I've been on an email thread with this woman since we first spoke with her about having her on the podcast. And take a look, Brandon, just so you can verify. Look, this was the last email I received, right? Don't say the name out loud. How many other people are CC'd on these emails?
64.
64. And when you click and you open it up, it's like people at The Guardian. At one point, like, these are major book publishers that are in here. There are Gayle King is in this email thread, or an email address addressed to Gayle King. It's very interesting. But this woman has been sending emails every day, 6, 7, 8 emails a night, coming in the middle of the night because she's hiding out like the Netherlands or somewhere. And these have gone on for months. And do you know when they stopped coming? Last Thursday was the last time I received an email.
Wow.
And it's very interesting that this woman would send 5, 6, 7 emails a day, and now hasn't sent anything for a week and a half.
Since this happened?
Well, what day did Virginia Giuffre die? She died Friday or Saturday? Yeah. So right before Virginia Giuffre was dead, this woman ceased sending emails.
Whoa.
And if I scroll back, I'm talking, it's not like we just started talking. Like, I can scroll back and go all the way back to January of 2024.
And she's asking
for 19 months, she's been sending these emails.
Wow.
So
she's asking for press?
She was trying to reach out and tell her story. She claimed that she was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. But it's just very interesting that this woman, she's got some bold accusations. Part of the reason why we didn't go through with the interview was because when talking with her, we couldn't verify any of the claims that she made. Well, yeah, that's going to be difficult to verify. These things are very well
network. Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole point of it. And so I feel bad for these victims, and specifically the woman that I was talking to. Imagine going through these horrific crimes, being sex trafficked, being abused, having these horrific things done to you, and then you try to tell the world that they happen and no one listens, including us. We didn't listen. We didn't put the interview on. But all of a sudden, these emails stopped right before Virginia Giuffre died last week.
Wow.
So a lot of people are under the impression that she didn't commit suicide. One of them is her father, insists that she didn't die by suicide. Somebody got to her. Another, I think it was 2019, she did a tweet and she had said, I will never, I'm in a great state of mind. I'll never commit suicide. I've told my therapist this, blah, blah, blah. So this right here is the suicide note that allegedly she wrote and left.
Wow, I haven't seen this yet.
So, yeah, so I found it this morning. Mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers need to show the battle lines are drawn and stand together and fight for the future of victims. I can't read that.
Is protesting the answer? I don't know, but we've got to start somewhere. To all survive. No, I'm sorry. That just continues.
Yeah. So it's really, really sad and tragic, and we've seen a lot of whistleblowers over the past year or two. We've covered a lot of them on Unusual Suspects, just like commit suicide, and we're like, what? Like, it makes no sense. This is someone that had her foundation, was helping so many young girls and women. And I can't imagine like the PTSD that she has from her experience, but I don't know if I believe or if I can understand it that she did commit suicide. I think maybe she was targeted.
Did she went with her husband right before the thing?
The divorce? Because from the reports that I read, her husband and her had recently separated, and she had lost access to her children.
She had a restraining order against her.
Okay,
so
that I didn't know.
He allegedly
I did not
beat the
research
shit
that.
out of her in January, allegedly, and then in February filed a restraining order against her. And like when she reported it to the police, like she had like a broken rib and a messed up eye. The police ignored her allegedly, and then she was banned from seeing him or contacting him, banned from the kids because he filed a restraining order against her, and like they gave it to him.
See, that would make me think that she would commit suicide,
beginning
being
of this
taken
month,
away from your family.
But the way that they met though is they met when she was sent to Thailand, like probably from like Epstein sent her there because they would send her there for like to recruit girls. They met at a massage school and got married after 10 days.
So she was groomed, and she was bought.
At the beginning of April, there was that whole thing where she was
Hit
in a
by a
car,
bus.
hit by a bus. She said she was hospitalized
But the parents
with
of the-
liver failure and had 4 days to live.
Right.
And then
Wait, that was this month?
no, that was at the beginning of
Yeah, we
April.
talked about that. On
April.
here.
Yeah.
April. And then suddenly, like immediately after she makes all these posts, it comes out, no, she actually isn't in liver failure. She's not going to
She
die.
went home
she
that
was just
day.
hospitalized. She was at home. The family was saying, no, she's actually okay.
And
then
parents
then
of
it
the
goes-
kids on the school bus that say that wasn't even a serious accident, that nobody else got hurt.
Yeah, and the police came out and said that they did an investigation as well and couldn't corroborate her claims. All of it very weird.
Yeah.
But if you were to take a woman and take her children away from her, that does have very devastating consequences to women more so than men. I've never been in a position where I've lost custody of a child. I did win custody of my son. His mother and I have a great relationship, and we're able to make it work now, but we weren't able to do that 10 years ago. It was very difficult on her when she lost custody. I can't imagine going through the woman had a very traumatic life, and that's the saddest part of all this is that it seems like there was no peace for this woman from the age of 15 years old on. Imagine your formative integral years as a teenager, you're getting sex trafficked to princes and millionaires and billionaires around the globe. How do you ever live a normal life like that? So it feels like it's just a very sad ending to a very sad story for this woman.
Well, maybe the people who have control over the situation should release the files and not let her die in vain.
Can I say I'm taught, like, I see Kash Patel at UFC fights. I see Kash Patel at sports events. I see Kash Patel riding high, living a nice life. He's the one that came out and said, day one, Epstein file release. And then when people get upset because they're not released, he's like, well, don't get mad at me. It is part of the process. No, it's not part of the process. Part of the process was you saying day one.
Yeah,
you said that. You don't set standards for something you can't keep.
I
what's
want to
interesting,
address
what's
that,
interesting too, though, is that you know where she first met Epstein?
At Kash Patel's house.
No.
No, okay. I don't know. I didn't know how they tied together.
According to Whitney Webb at Mar-a-Lago when she was 16.
Well, I mean, if you read into the history of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's relationship, Donald Trump had Jeffrey Epstein escorted off the property and banned from Mar-a-Lago after he found out that Jeffrey Epstein was perving on the young ladies that worked at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. I mean, I could see how that happens. You know how close the house was that Jeffrey Epstein had to Mar-a-Lago? Miles.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody buys that property and demolishes it. Nobody's ever dug into the
island?
Fuck the island.
New Mexico.
We know about the island. The New
ranch,
Mexico ranch.
where he was trying to clone himself.
Yes, where he was doing medical experiments trying to make more little perverts of Jeffrey Epstein's to live
But
on
Rob,
forever.
I want to go back to what you were saying, like directing that criticism at Kash Patel. You guys talked about it on PBD podcast of giving Trump a grade on his first 100 days. Patrick just put out a video the other day talking about his rating of Trump's performance. Gave him a C-. And a lot of people were furious about it. And you see, anytime there's this criticism of what Trump has and has not done yet, it's like, well, just give him time. Just give him time. Guys, we are 100 days into the second
103.
Trump administration.
Yeah.
This is not his first time around. And we do not have unrealistic expectations about when these things are going to happen. We are not the ones who said day one Epstein file release. That was Kash Patel. That was Pam Bondi. That was Trump himself who said, I will declassify 9/11. I will declassify JFK. I will declassify Jeffrey Epstein. None of which have produced the promised results that he himself set. So when you say,
and Glenn Beck also came on and said 10 days it's going to come
and
out.
it's like,
I get it.
give him
It's not
time. Give him time. How much time?
And didn't they make everything worse by giving something, but it wasn't like nearly what was expected?
Well, they had
so
the
like
binders come out and they gave it to a bunch of right-wing influencers. And even that seemed like a slap in the face. And to Connor's point quickly, you talk about the grade that we've got. We've never gotten so much press for our podcast since we have the past 3 days. MSNBC releases a video. I give it a C+. Pro-Trump media figures criticize President Trump's first 100 days. In there, they refer to the BBD podcast because it's specifically about that as and I quote, popular pro-Trump podcast. Then there was an article that came out in Bloomberg this morning. The MAGA cheering squad is losing faith. And in it, they referred to the PBD podcast as, and I quote, a group who could only be described as MAGA bros criticize Trump. Okay, maybe we are MAGA bros. Yeah, we're criticizing him because there were promises that were made that have not been kept. He has kept some important ones. Securing the border, you get an A on that.
More important ones, I would argue.
I disagree 100% because if Israel is the reason behind Jeffrey Epstein and the Mossad, if Jeffrey Epstein was an agent of the Mossad and working for Israel to blackmail United States politicians by having him have sex with underage people on film to compromise them, that is the biggest scandal that has ever happened to this country, and we have every right to invest. At this point, there's only two reasons why they won't release it. Donald Trump is either on camera having sex with an underage girl, and they have that in the files, or Israel has compromised the United States of America, and nobody wants that information to get out. But in my opinion, my view, that's the only reason why they're not releasing it. Otherwise, release the fucking files, and we'll see it.
Yeah, well said. Because there's no indication that that's not still going on today. Like Glenn Beck literally said, he talks to Congress people. They won't even talk to him inside because they're afraid of the CIA.
Look at what happened to Thomas Massey. He comes out and says that every single member of Congress has an AIPAC representative that they have to report to, and then his wife mysteriously dies and nobody even talks about it. And now everybody on the right is turned against Thomas Massey.
Right.
Well,
very interesting.
Back to your point about like all the people that covered the podcast. Did you ever think that Adam Sosnick would be on MSNBC as the pro-Trump MAGA
as a MAGA
guy?
bro?
Exactly. But that's the whole point. They're trying to use it as, some gotcha moment of, look, MAGA's losing faith. No, we're not. But our criticism is that Trump hasn't done enough of the things he said.
Yeah.
I am fully on board and fully pleased with the efforts and deportation.
He's signed 142 executive orders.
I could go sign 142 pieces of paper at my desk right now. It doesn't mean they come
into
he
law.
started
Right.
the.
We don't even have plastic straws yet.
I don't have a problem with that. You should be loyal to the person that you're serving. You should want to praise them and highlight their good parts. You can also call out their bad parts. And the bad parts are the transparency that we were promised has not been delivered. The border is secure. We're getting rid of criminals. We're sending people who are here illegally back to the countries they came from. That's great. In addition to that, I want the JFK files released in its entirety. I want the RFK files released in their entirety. I want the Epstein files released in their entirety. Open an investigation into 9/11. Open an investigation into COVID. Why are these things not being done?
And as you said earlier,
the Bush family and the Clinton.
Priorities.
What happened to throw her in jail? You know,
Let's take over now.
I'm
going to the Capitol.
The sick twisted shit the Clintons have done. You said because she'd be in jail. Why'd you back off that? Like, all this bullshit talk.
Priority.
and like you said
Our
earlier,
priorities are like getting rid of the people who are destroying the world. Like, there's 500 people.
They're not.
I don't think it's a Venezuelan migrant that's selling fruit on the side of 95 that is going to be the downfall of this country. I do believe it's going to be our politicians being compromised.
Yep. Fine. Okay, we got
but
we got to wrap up.
even optically, like you said earlier, if you're not doing stuff, you can't be showing up at these public events, look like you're out having a good time and taking all the perks in of the position while you're not delivering on things that you said you were going to.
No, it's a bad optics,
bad look.
and
Terrible.
you look at it, and it makes me now not like Kash Patel.
It's tough.
When
The
I
same
see
here.
him out
Yeah.
enjoying
I
UFC,
hate
and
him.
I'm going,
100%.
why are you not working and busting your ass to get these
I
files?
think
You know what
I
Kash Patel-
tweeted just that.
You know
Yeah.
what Kash Patel had plenty of time to do is make statements saying the United States unequivocally stands with India in its conflict with Pakistan.
you know what? Now I don't.
Well, you know what? That's actually not true because the U.S. has always said we are completely neutral on the India-Pakistan divide. We will mediate and we will help in whatever capacity is necessary to stop these two from going to war.
Yeah.
Well, now that they're about to go to war, the Indian head of the FBI suddenly stands up and says, no, America is with India. No, we're not.
Just build our
Kash
iPhones.
Patel does not get to make those declarations. But suddenly, I guess we picked a side, which is almost like a textbook case of why foreign people should not be allowed to bring their interests into the U.S. government to dictate our policy. Huh.
Yeah.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.